Okay, go ahead and do a soft start here, and if more people join, William, just go ahead and let him in. William is listening in. This is somewhat informal, like the rest of them. We're just moving to Teams, so if we're a little shaky, it's because new environment, new or different provider for our webinars here. So with that, in chat, pop in something if you have a question, and he'll bring it to me as we go through the process here. So we're changing up a lot of the details here as we roll out a whole bunch of new tech this year. Stuff we've been working on for a year, in some cases a little bit longer. We're just now pulling it out, and really the whole thing is pretty much as it says on the tagline right now. We have a lot of people using Oasis. Our whole goal is to make it a little faster, a little smarter, and in the end, hopefully you'll be able to make a little more profit on this through the various technologies and the way we're using it. So with that, let's go ahead and dig in a little bit deeper. If I can find my mouse. That's old tech. All right, here we go. So I'm still using the PowerPoint to kind of organize my thoughts here a little bit, and then we'll jump into the app a little bit. So we've already talked through, just kind of back up a little bit. Folio, what we're trying to do is pull everything together into roughly what I'll call a product database. Yeah, we use AI and all these cool tech to pull it together. But really, the main thing is the time I spend on these manufacturer websites, and I don't spend as much as you all do. They're challenging. Some of them are okay, but some of them are really gotten to be a mess where you can't find stuff and where are the cut sheets and everything. So it really slows everything down as far as building quotes and submittals, everything else that goes in. And then they keep changing the cut sheets and changing the tech and everything like that. And then you go over the process of crossing. We'll get into that a little bit later. But what we did last year is we rolled out a technology called Sheets that'll take care of all the cut sheets, keeping them up to date and sending them to you. And you can still personalize them because that was a major area, but that was last year. And also last year we rolled out Scope. The whole purpose of Scope is give you everything put together for one particular product. So if you're on a line in a quote, you can real quickly identify everything else about that particular product, including the pricing, how you quoted it before, how you ordered it before, and even details with our machine learning on we'll start to show on the Scope as far as lead time and other details. That information is also available in what I'll be going over today. And that is Select. It's a product database. It's at your fingertips and does a lot more. It does incorporate Scope and as far as the all the details of the product. So it's just one step above Scope actually. To deal deeper into, actually, I forgot about this slide here. So anyway, Sheets, stop building submittals manually, and we pre-highlighted everything for you. And then the manual spec searches, so you don't have to go out and grab it. And then Scope, as I mentioned, kind of jumped the gun here, basically tab switching between websites and just pulling all the data together on one particular deal. But inside of Select, we can actually compare products and we can hopefully eliminate mistakes because the whole goal is just pull the data together and be able to help you find products a little more quickly, especially competing products out there. And then be able to actually pull the quote together a little more quickly on that. And I'll show more details on Select as we go forward. All right, so a little bit details on this. There is a little bit of admin work, but not too much. And the whole goal really with all these products is spend a little more time, working with customers, closing bids, dealing with all logistics headaches you have to deal with, and not really searching websites. But there is a little bit of setup to deal with. There is a setup screen when you get ready to talk about any of the products, whether it's the Sheets, Scope, or Select. It's the same setup screen once you get ready for it. It's pretty easy. You just let it do most of the work for you. But the main thing we're trying to do on this is identify the products that you represent. In other words, which brands you represent. Without that, the system could bring back any of well, we have a large database, so it could bring back a lot of data, and it just kind of helps speed up the whole process there. All right, so let's dig in. So all right, so a little bit of marketing details here. So when a spec changes, you're ready in minutes. I'll show you how we can bounce back and forth on a few things here. But basically, we can fill in the product bill of material and gaps. So, and it keeps control of the spec. Let me kind of peek over here. And really, the whole purpose here is we're going to pull a lot of information, as I keep saying, about the product together on one screen. And let's go ahead and dive in. So at this point, let's pull up a quote. And this is all online. Okay. The desktop right now, we can't use select with the desktop version of Oasis. We're looking into it, but right now this is primarily online. And what I'll do is go into a project. So the last 2 days, and I have one pulled up here, so you don't have to watch me type out a few items here, but I kept it fairly generic. And the whole purpose here is we're building the bill of material in this. And what I don't want to do is spend a lot of, let me see, what I do want to do is use select to go through and speed me up as far as identifying the linear item that I want to put on here and the rest of the details. At the very end, I'll do a basic cross. But the whole purpose here is being able to find and identify or select the products that you're trying to go with. So I have a fixture type A1 here. I want it to be a linear pendant or something like that. So what I'll do is I'll go into select. Now in here, if I leave the brand name open, so let me go back for a second. I haven't selected the brand that I want to work with. I want the system to tell me what's available, and then I'll start plugging that in as I go. And I do want it to be a linear. I could type in linear pendant, a whole bunch of other things in there. I'll just keep it simple right here. Go into select, and I'll simply tell it, go search. And what it's doing right now is it's taking all the brands that I represent, it ran it against the folio database for anything that is linear. Okay. Yeah. How do we deal with the linear? It's several different ways. And there'll likely be a part two of this webinar, by the way. I forgot to mention that, where I'll get into some other details on how you can kind of adjust it and make it show your linear, if you will. All right. So we're in here. There's several different items. I'm not a super guru when it comes to a few of these, but at the end of the day, what I'll do is, let me see, above all, I'll just pick one. Let's go with the view here. And what we do inside of each one of these, once you identify one of them, is show you everything again on one screen associated with the product I just selected. And I apologize, I don't do this normally. I usually deal with products that are genericized out here, so I had to pick something to actually show you real data because it doesn't really look too good without it. So apologize if it's a different brand and anybody I show here. So no affiliation with above all anybody else here. But what we did do is we have a product. This is one of the images that they have on their site, and we pulled everything together. And click on this, jump over to the website. I can pull down the different spec sheets associated with it, look at it there, and I pull everything together as far as description, the catalog number right here, just kind of will change if I actually had a catalog number. Right now, it's just a description, if you will, or what they had on their site is probably as a title or something. And then we pull various elements off the cut sheet. We'll get a little deeper into this in a minute as far as the different attributes we pull together. But all I want to do right now, because this looks like what I like to go with, is I like to go and build a product. And this is probably jumping ahead a little bit. So I'll go and build a product. And what's nice about this is it already filled in what is required. And now I just identify the rest of it. Now I'll show you a different one here in a minute that actually has read a little deeper into the cut sheet. This one will happen. We just hadn't run the little bot on it yet, but it'll actually identify what these options are that are on the cut sheet. So I'll show you that on a different one here in a minute where we've actually ran the bot against. So as soon as I do this, I basically have a configurator for all my products I import. And at this point, it's identified the brand and the catalog number. Now, if I had pricing in Oasis, or if I had a connectivity to the manufacturer, it'll actually fill in the rest of the information just like what you're used to in Oasis if you key in the catalog number. That is, it'll do the lookups and everything else. If it's a discontinued item, and we know that through some of those feeds, it'll turn it red and say discontinued and the whole works. So again, everything is here, okay? Do the same thing on the troffer. I'll keep this kind of simple, but what I want to do on the troffer is a little bit different. Go into more of the select criteria on this. So I'll go ahead and do a search. I'll stay within the brands that I represent by leaving the brand name blank. If I specified like LSI here, it would say and show me only the LSI troffers. It wouldn't go into the rest of them. Now, the next feature I'd like to show or advantage we have in here is I'll go ahead and just select one of these. So anytime you click in the middle here, it's going to select that product. Okay. If I click view, it's going to show me the details on that product. But what I want to do this time is just go through and identify everything that looks similar. So, and you all are the gurus. I'm just a IT guy today. So I'll do this one. That looks good as well. And I'll stay with 3. So main thing is I have 3 items selected, and now I can compare them. Now, what we've done is we've read the cut sheets on as many of them as we can out there, and we keep running more bots to make this more sophisticated. But right now, I know the different color temps, voltages, drivers, compliance. So if there's Title 24 or BA, or any of those other items, so they'll show up here. Evidently, couldn't find those on this particular spec sheet, so it won't show them. And then lumen. On some of them, we've went a little further, and we'll continue to add more attributes as we go. But that's just the basics that we wanted to start with, and we're rolling out more. So from here, I can remove items, and I can go ahead and view more details on the specific item. Okay. Okay, close. Oop, and actually, I need to select something. So hang on. Let me go back in here. Let me go and do a search. I was actually supposed to put one in. Let me see. Oh my God. I'll go with that one, I guess. All right. I'll go ahead and do the same thing. I'll build a product. And this is actually one I wanted to, I knew with Columbia we'd ran the extra bot on already. And it has all the details pulled out. So I know what the different options are within this matrix over here. So it is a configurator, if you will. It'll go through and identify the base series. And I'll go with a 2x4 this time. Some of these are required options, so it'll go and pre-select those for me. And I'll go ahead and add in flex. Why not? There we go. And I'll do an import. And at that point, it would have done the same thing if I had connectivity back to the manufacturer and pulled it in. So, all right. Any questions so far? All right.
None right now.
All right. So now let me see if I've missed anything. So it's harvested by AI, let me see, and proprietary information delight. Okay. So, and one thing I can't show you, I really wish I could, is the proprietary information. And this really gets into pricing and anything else that the manufacturer shares with you. And again, just like I've said in the past, we'll merge that on those screens where you're seeing all the attributes. But we don't share that with anybody else because that is a requirement. We know that you have signed with the manufacturer not to share that with anybody else. And that stays within your OASIS instance. All right, and we've done that. Showed most of that. And I think we're good there. All right, so went through most of the configuration on there. This was the big item for us. We have, because of the way we do other parts of the system and some other products we're rolling out later in the year, we went ahead and got all the data for each one of these products as far as being able to configure it and configure it different ways. But it's all in there, and basically every manufacturer will have a mini configurator. Now, for the manufacturers, I want to make a side comment here. For the manufacturers that have a product configurator that they maintain, we will have the ability to link to it. That's one of the things we haven't finished up yet, but it will be in there. And the whole purpose there is you can actually launch over to their configurator and do the full deep dive that they can do inside their system. In a lot of cases, their ERPs have all the rules about what you can and cannot select together. All we're doing is pulling what we know off the cut sheet. It's pretty basic, and the whole thing is to keep things fast and simple, just so you can get a good catalog number, even if you're in the middle of a quote and you just need to plug one line. We're hoping you'll be able to pop over to Folio, just get the job done and move on, as opposed to launching another site that can be a little slower. Okay, let me see. And you can reverse configure it. I actually found we have a bug right now, and it doesn't show you that, so I can't really show you the back and forth, but I will show you a little bit of this here in a second. And pricing will update. I've already mentioned that, and then the import button. So we've been through most of this, and I want to go back into some other details here. All right, good. So let me go back into my quote here. There's a few details I want to go in, and one of them is everything's still in here, RB and ABC. Okay, so I have my selector on ABC-1. So you can still go in, and I'll try it again because it's supposed to do, as I mentioned, a reverse config and build product. So it's not fully reversing, but when after the next update, you should have all this filled in. So it'll have the 1, 2, and then the B. Anyway, there'll be some other details in here as well. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of go through that, and it'll go ahead and price it when it comes in as well. Okay. All right, vanities. Let me go ahead and do a few other examples here. So I put vanity on this example, although it's not running the PowerPoint. What I like to show is inside of select, you can go ahead and select vanities that you represent, and it just goes through and it reads all the details in here as far as whatever you have as far as the brands you've selected and mapped over to folio. But I can also add in some other stuff. It doesn't have to be generic like that. It can be globes. So now I get vanities with globe looking things or whatever. So anyway, there you go. Now, let's say I don't have the vanity I want, and I know I can probably go get it from Lowe's or Home Depot. I just need to see what's out there. So I can type in the word any, and this is starting to get into the last part of it. But at this point, it's going to search the entire folio database, and it's going to show me any vanity with globes on it in the entire system. So now we're into brands that I don't represent, and I can take a look at it and maybe call my rep across the across town and maybe have them help me finish out the package that I have there. So anyway, that's vanity with globes. Let me see. Let me think. I like to go with Arkansas and let's go with the vanity. And I'm doing this mostly because, well, I'm in Arkansas, so don't really know the folks over there. But anyway, I'll go and view it, and then here's a vanity that I want to pull. Kind of an odd looking thing. I just noticed it the other day, and I'll go ahead and import it as well. And again, if I had a price listed, pull it in, and down we go. All right, downlights, pretty much the same thing as troffers. I showed most of the details. I'll go ahead and go through the process though. It's just trying to identify what I have in my system, and then I can use that compare feature on it. But I want to get into one other scenario that I have over here. It's called favorites. And anyway, let's go and load up some downlights here. And it shows all the downlights that I represent. And I could go through the whole process and it does get a little, it does actually go through and sorry about that zoom there. It does go through other stuff that's similar like pendants and some other stuff. So it will occasionally pick those up. But there you go. It has some downlights on there. And if I knew the catalog number, I could pull that in as well. Now, if you hit the little heart symbol over here, it starts building a list of favorites. Okay. So if I have something in mind for a downlight that I use a lot, I can go and click on that one and click view favorites. And at this point, here are all the favorites that I've had in the past. And I'll go ahead and just pick this one just for argument's sake, view, and that one looks fine there. So I'll go ahead and pull that in. Probably just not a great example there for a downlight with everything else I selected there, but there we go. Anyway, again, if I had a price list on it, I'd go ahead and pull in the pricing and all the details there just to pull it in. All right, exits, pretty much the same thing. And I have one other one I need to do here in a second. So select and search. And do the exits that I have in the system. And again, I could go through and select a couple of them to compare. Ooh, that would be a different odd duck. And does pull in some emergencies in some cases because it does, like AI does, it knows it's similar items in there. There are my two items, and I can just start digging deeper and again go through the process of configuring it. Okay. Any questions so far?
None as of now.
All right. Let's see if we can go for the last item here. So the any keyword I've talked to with the vanity in there, literally you type in any in front of the product name, and you can get into basketed troffers if you want. It'll show that. I could show that if you're interested, or whatever it is you're looking for. The only difference is the any keyword, and we'll set this up in a couple of other ways as well. We give you the ability to see anything else that's in the folio product database. Basically, it breaks outside of what you selected that you represent inside of your system. But where it becomes important to have those mapped is really two scenarios. One of them is, as I've been showing all along, is when you just simply say vanity, it's going to show the ones you represent. Same for exits or anything else. Now, if you get a scenario where you'd like to cross, and we'll pick this particular part up a little more deeply next time, or the second webinar for folio, and that is the cross keyword. So in here, there's a lot's going to happen on crossing actually within folio and OASIS, but this is the first one. So what I'll do is I'll simply go into folio and I'll go into select, and I can start with like a catalog number. I haven't done a whole lot of catalog number search, like ABC-12, I think is the one that I've been playing with here. So it found the brand or the product I have and some similar items. But what I can do is actually go through and do an any and type in like a BLT. So sorry, I had to pick something here, and it seemed like a good example that a lot of people could relate to. So it found this is a Lithonia item out there that's there, and it found some similar items. But now, if I switch this over and say cross, it's going to do something a little different. And at this point, it's actually gone through one of several models that we have to do crossing. So this is the first one. Your databases will be able to do a little bit more because of some stuff I'll get into here in a minute. But it will select the item that it thinks using the cross keyword and actually go down and identify everything else that's in my system that is similar. Now, yours will get a little more interesting because here in Arkansas, you might get away with doing a center basketed troffer or basket troffer there with a panel. Now, you probably can't, depending upon your market, and it'll want to pull you over to one of these other items out here that's actually another basketed troffer from some of the brands that I represent. But to go back here for a second, it does pull the product that it found that it has been told to go get, in this case, the BLT from Lithonia. And again, this could be a full catalog number, and it'll actually get a little more, it'll be more precise on what it finds out there. And it'll show you everything that you have that is similar to that one using our attribute model. So this is just using the attribute model, trying to say, okay, I started with the troffer and some other details. Now I'm going to go find the better matches based on that model. Now, within your system, and I can't show you this today, this is going to be kind of the start of the thing where I'm going to talk about the next webinar, and it'll start focusing on other things you can do with the Folio Select database. And one of them is being able to build a localized model. It happens actually pretty automatically, and it'll identify what you actually have as better fits in your market, and if you're in multiple markets, in specific markets, for that particular item. And for this one, it's probably going to be very similar most of the time. But for other products, we keep hearing that you may have different variances based upon the market or the specifier even that's on there. So any questions so far?
None.
Really quiet group. All right. So there's more details as far as it can. I'm going to start wrapping up here. I've been through sheets in the past. Went through scope late last year. This is select, and this is the part one. I wanted to keep it fairly simple this time because I have a tendency to really get into the whiz bang stuff, and there's a lot of other neat things about select that I want to get into. But I wanted to keep it fairly simple and walk through the main items here. That is just being able to go out and plug material into the bill of material, be able to select the exits, the troffers, whatever it is you need to do, and even find product that's outside of your brand so you can go work with others to fill out that bill of material. The crossovers and a lot of the reporting that I would really get excited about is it will be in the second webinar on Select. And I want to do it so bad, but right now I'm going to stop with this. So any questions on that? All right. I do appreciate your time. I wanted to keep it simple and quick, and hopefully you'll join us for part two of Select. And thank you very much. From fixture schedules, I saw a little note on that one. If you pull in the fixture schedule, I did a webinar on how to pull in a fixture schedule into OASIS using ChatGPT and some other tech. Once it's in OASIS, yes, you can cross it from there. Is that the last question we had?
Yes, that was the last one.
All right.